بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. أسأل الله تبارك وتعالى أن يجعل نياتنا خالصة لوجهه الكريم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. I want to really begin to speak to you over the next couple days about a series of initiatives that we need to do if we're going to move beyond just speech. Often, we like to talk, but we're not serious about work. And speech is good. It's nice to have nice speeches, nice talks, get inspired, get fired up. But we have to do something with that speech. We really have a lot of work to do. And we're confronted with several things, and I want to share them with you, that are challenges, or should I say obstacles, that we must overcome. The first, and I think the most severe of them, is an internal obstacle. And that is a lack of commitment and confidence in ourselves. I think that's the biggest challenge we got to overcome. A lack of commitment from ourselves and confidence that we can accomplish our objectives and our goals. We have to become boldly confident. We have to reach a point where we feel that there is nothing that we can't achieve. And we need to put together like-minded people who are like that to get the job done. And sometimes there's only a few people like that. There's not a lot of people who are willing to sacrifice. There are a lot of people who are willing to talk about sacrifice, but they're not willing to do it. So we have to, number one, get that commitment. And among us, we have a lot of people that listen to us. Man, I talk to myself. Yeah, I do a lot, right? But I talk to myself. I talk to Imam Naeem. I talk to Imam Fahim. I talk to other Imams. I talk to other people. And everybody's always telling me, yeah, man, I heard this person walked up to me, said, man, I listen to y'all all the time. I listen to the post-Fajr reflections. I listen to Scattered Thoughts. I listen to the Black Imams Roundtable. Yeah, man, y'all brothers, man, y'all really putting it in, man. We all hear that. But when it comes to the actual work, say, all right, this is what we got to do. Then we start separating the men from the boys and the women from the girls. But to ever realize all the things we talk about, we got to do more. We got to be committed. And commitment has several aspects to it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran about the believers, and it's one of my favorite verses in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ ثُمَّ لَمْ يَرْتَابُوا وَجَاهَدُوا بِأَمْوَالِهِمْ وَأَنفُسِهِمْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الصَّادِقُونَ. Allah said in that verse, the only real believers are those who believe in Allah and His Messenger and thereafter never doubt. And they struggle, they struggle with their wealth and with their persons in the path of Allah. Verily, these are the sincere servants of Allah. If you look at this verse, it describes who real believers are. And then it calls those believers, in the beginning it tells you the real believers are. At the end it tells you that these are sincere people too. They are committed. They have confidence. They sacrificed. They are sadiqun. They're sincere. They're truthful. But something in the middle shows you what they have to do. And Allah said, wajahadu, they struggle. Jahid, we said jahid to shahid. They struggle. Bi amwalihim, first and foremost with their wealth. Wa anfusihim, and their bodies, their selves, fi sabilillah, in the path of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put the money first because that is what the people cling to the most. They're going to cling, hold tight to their money. They might give a little of themselves before they give their money. So Allah they give the money first. Because that's a bigger sacrifice sometimes than your own self for the person's nafs. To give my money. Right? And it also is a sign in it. If you're going to move forward in the path of Allah, you do need money. You need money. You can't do it. That was in Arabia. What do you think is like in America? Listen to that. It is mentioned in this verse. وَجَاهَدُوا بِأَمْوَالِهِمْ وَأَنفُسِهِمْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. Do I have a Quran around here? Right? I want you to give me a second. I'm sorry, 1 second. Okay, Surah 49, verse 15. Sorry, I memorize Quran, but don't remember where the verses are at. Surah 49, verse 15. Sorry. Right. Look at that verse. إنما المؤمنون الذين آمنوا بالله ورسوله ثم لم يرتابوا وجاهدوا بأموالهم وأنفسهم في سبيل الله أولئك هم الصادقون. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put that those believers, they strive, they struggle, wajahadu, with their wealth and their persons. And you would notice whenever the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam why you didn't just tell me? Why I had to ask you, Imam Fahim Sheikh Boombap? Gotta be perceptive. You saw me looking for something. Obviously, I was looking for the verse. But the Prophet ﷺ would call for money. He would. Because the money took journey. They're gonna journey, they gotta travel, they're gonna fight, they need weapons, they need equipment, they need support, they need riding animals. All that stuff costs money to spread the da'wah. They established Beit al-Mal because they had to take care of people who didn't have. They had to do all that. All that took money. If you're serious. And you go fight a battle and your enemy has superior weaponry, has more resources, it's going to be a much more difficult fight. You have to be equipped. Means you have to equip yourself. Means you have to support your own mission. And not only that, I'm just giving my money. That's not enough. وَجَاهَدُوا بِأَمْوَالِهِمْ وَأَنفُسِهِمْ. And then you have to sacrifice yourself too, right? To get the job done. And as leaders of our communities, we can't be afraid to remind us of this issue because we have to do the work. And I'm telling you, we need funding. We need a lot of funding for what we want to do. Because while we're working at teaching, there are others working with the help of our people to destroy us. Please put that up, what I just said. While we are working to empower and develop our communities and educate our communities, there are others using our people to destroy our efforts and everything we're trying to do. And they are way more financed than us. They are way more financed than us. And if we're going to build our own and we're going to do our own, we got to support our own. We have to. If we're going to have our own institutions, our own schools, if we're going to travel around the world and reach community and do da'wah, we are in need of serious financial support. All of us have to start chipping in. Every single one of us. It's not all going to be the same. Some of us have only $1. Then we need to put that $1 up. Some of us have $1,000. We need to put that $1,000 up. Some of us can only do sometimes. I only can help sometimes. Some of us can help most of the time. And some of us can help all of the time. And we need to be what we can be. And if I don't mind asking of myself and my family and my loved ones, yo, we got to put up. I shouldn't be shy to ask you. Right? And listen, tell you what we got to do. Right now, can you get to that link? That's the project we're working on right this minute in the next 10 days. Let me put it. This project is the one we're working on right now. And the link there put it up in the thing, but I can't see. I'm not on Facebook, so I can't see what went there. That is the easy link there. For this project we're doing right now. It is our effort, and we did it last year, and we were successful, to raise $20,000 during this 10 days before the Eid. And what will that money be used for? Got several things happening. I hate to see all these things all over the screen, but I don't want nobody to say I didn't see it. You can see it. There's an advertisement. There's the link. Several things we're going to do. That's not all what we need. It's a lot of what we need for right now at the moment. I'm just making sure all these links work. Yes. So that's the link. Several things we're doing. Number one, the first thing we're doing is we have one of our teachers coming back, who we raised, Sheikh Abdul Aziz, who will be full-time teacher in the Masjid. He studied in Tarim, Yemen, Dar al-Mustafa. He studied and graduated from Al-Azhar University. He's a Hafiz of the Quran. He's one of the main readers for his shuyukh and all those when they come from Hadramaut in Egypt, has high ijazas from Sham, from the great scholars of Sham, from Egypt, from Yemen. And he'll be living in Masjid Muhammad doing the work along with me teaching. If you're asking someone to give up their whole life for study and learning, you got to pay for that. You got to compensate them. They have to be able to live. So we have to pay them. That's one aspect of it. And that's a very important, because we want to start a full-time boarding school. Because a lot of people, they have children that need to learn. Some of them being homeschooled, they need to learn. We want to provide that. So we need at least 2 salaries for 2 full-time teachers who work with those children. We got to build the buildings. I got the land. We got to build the structures so that people can have places to stay who send their kids here, that their kids have a place to stay with someone that's watching them, making sure they're doing their regular school work because they're homeschooled, make sure they're learning their Islamic sciences so that we can build. So I'm going to take this down because I cannot see. So that is our effort over the next 6 months. He'll be here by the end of this month, and we're going right on the ground. We not wait. We're starting right away. So we've already selected a few of the most talented people that we've noticed that have the ability to handle intense studies, to start working with them. Like immediately, we're on the ground running. But I really need your support. If I'm going to get this done, I need your support. And it also frees me by having teachers and having others do the groundwork. It frees me to go around the country and do the other work that we need. Because when we need to travel, we need to meet people on the ground and teach them and build them up and educate them. That also takes resources. So it's nice to have grand ideas, but you have to way to facilitate those ideas. And we meet every morning. You see us work every day. There's no days off. So there should be no doubt that we're going to do what we say we're going to do. We've proven that, right? You actually physically got to visit us and see what we do. We're serious. We're not playing games. But remember, our enemies are serious too, and they're not playing games either. They're real serious. They're deadly serious. So we have to be in a position to do what we say we're going to do. So I'm going to ask you all to go to that Launch Good campaign, and let's get that done. You can see it. If you need CashApp or other things, those links are there. Could you put the CashApp link and the Masjid link as well as this Launch Good link? If you click right from there, you can get that launch code link as well. But we need to get this job done. And I hope within the next year that we would at least double or triple those who are learning and supporting what we're doing. But that's going to take some work. And it's going to take your support. And among the things you can do, because I said, some of us don't have money. وَجَاهَدُوا بِأَمْوَالِهِمْ وَأَنفُسِهِمْ. You don't got money, you do have yourself. You must, every time you come on, you must share the video. Because Facebook has a way of blocking people from seeing your stuff. It's just, I don't know why they do what they do, but they control it. And it may be to make you pay. I don't know what they're doing. Right now, the students, right now at this stage, they should be teenagers to young adults because we don't have the staff to take care of children. I'm working on something where parents move to Atlantic City with their children and they can supervise their children while we teach them. But we need housing for that, which is I'm working on. This is a lofty project. It's going to take a lot of money. But we got to start gradually. It's going to take a lot of money to do what we're trying to do. It's not going to be cheap. We're doing business. We're doing other things. We got a lot of things going on, but it's going to take a lot, a whole lot. We always like to look at successful organizations or successful endeavors, and when we see the final result, we forget everything it takes to do that, right? But we can do it. So I'm going to be laying out all these things over the next couple of days because I'm going to use these scattered thoughts to actually lay out some of our plans. Because we're not doing nothing haram. We need it done. No matter who do it. We happen to make the effort to do it. But if someone else was successful, I wouldn't be sad. I'll be happy as long as it gets done. Doesn't have to be at my hands. I want to see it though. Right? So inshallah ta'ala, we will all do our part to make this happen. And we got to get moving fast. You know, we have to get moving fast. Let me ask you a question. Yes, from teenagers to young adults. Why do I say teenagers for young adults? Teenagers, let's say 15 to 18. They're kind of independent. I mean, they're young, but you can give them instructions. You don't have to be all over them all the time. And young adults are able to manage those young teenagers while also doing their own thing. Because we don't have a big staff, right? So it's going to be a few of us working with those children or young adults. And the capacity of their memorization, because there's a lot of memorization. Study's not playing games. Memorizing books, taking notes, tests, teaching, all that come with it. It's work, right? So the younger one has the capacity initially. Then you have classes for older people, but it's not as intense as the school type of work. But you train them so they can become teachers, right? You train those young adults. Within a year, they're able to teach basic things that that others need. Like they mastered their Fard Ain. They can teach Fard Ain from their memory. You're training them like that. Hold on one second. And that's what we need from them. So that's why we're talking about what I'm sorry, I got so many things going on. It's crazy. So you train them. Then you build more teachers, right? One teacher, two teachers, three teachers, four teachers. Now you can have someone else doing these classes, schedule. Now we get the momentum going. You watch everyone else do it. You see it. It's easy. It's easy to do it, but it just takes work and effort. So I want to ask you, how many of you are willing to commit to this work? Just say, I am. That's it, I am. If you're serious, you really want to help, you really want to support, I need to distinguish who we got. Separate the spectators from the supporters. Islam Muhammad, you don't count. You don't have a choice. I am. I am forced to do it. Abdul Aziz Khattab, you don't have a choice. You are forced. You don't have choice. You are forced. Let me ask you a question. A serious question. I want to see how you think. Yeah, Imam Fahim, you don't have a choice either. Abdur Rahman, you signed up, you don't have a choice either. Some of y'all don't got no choice. If you don't do it, it ain't gonna get done. Here's my point. What do you think a realistically is a necessary salary for someone to give their full-time energy to teach your knowledge? Full-time. Full-time, a minimum of 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. We don't take days off. So you're going to be working 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, no days off. What do you think realistically, not exaggerated, not overcompensated, and not oppressed either? What is the salary for such a person a year? I'm asking you. That's a question. They're going to work an average of 8 hours a day. An average, it's going to be more than that, but I'm just saying average. 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. What do you think is just a fair, not overpaid, not oppressed, not taken advantage of? What is a fair salary? So we got 50, 30. Abu Muhammad, if you pay somebody $30,000 a year for that kind of work in Atlantic City, you are a major oppressor. They can't live off that. It's impossible. And not do that. They got to go get another job. It will never work. We got to get benefits too. That's true. That's how I feel, Kimberly, but that will never happen until we really get us. The average teacher in our area makes around $80,000 a year, 70 to 80,000 a year, the average teacher. So we can forget that one, right? I wish that was the case, but that ain't happening. Not right now. But as we see, fair, I would agree, at least 50,000 just to survive. If we're serious, we're not supported by the government. And truthfully, we shouldn't want the government support. Right? So we're talking about 50,000. That should be the medium salary for those who work in this effort. Because they're not going to get what they're going to be worth and what they're doing. But it's our job to supply that. So if we're talking about at least at a minimum, and we need more, but at a minimum 2 teachers, that's $100,000 a year just for the teachers. Just to have teachers, that's $100,000 a year. We still got to buy housing and build buildings or renovate buildings. So that's responsibility. Tenware, you work in construction and building. What is the average cost of renovating a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house? Average, roughly. I forget about buildings. Some of the structures we got to build because it's just land. But what type of money are we talking about doing that? If we wanted to put a new structure on existing land, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, for housing for students, what's the cost of that? Because we do have land, right? But we got to put a structure on it. What's the average cost around that? 3-bedroom, we put 4 students in a room or 3 students in a room, right? What's the cost of that? The construction for that? Rough estimate, Tenware. Don't got to be precise. Tenware, come on, man. He must be working or something. I don't see him. Right? Anyway. So when you're looking at all those things, you got food, you got to feed the students, right? Gas, electric. Here's the problem with grants, right? Grants, all right, that's fine. That's a broad question, but roughly, that's how to get some ideas. So you're talking about at least 2 or 3 buildings, that's another 90,000. So you can easily see how such an effort can cost you $500,000 without even blinking to do what we're trying to do. Without blinking, it could cost you 500,000 without even a thought. So we have work to do, right? So to what we need, and talking about this amount, excuse me. Talking about that amount is nothing to what we have to do. So since we see all we have to do, right, let's get this done. Right? And at least we can start the teaching part. The teachers can come, he coming back after many years abroad, I can put him to work. Here's the salary, everything's done, let's get busy. Classes, let's expand, let's do. Because that gives me help, right? And it's important, we gotta get serious. The grant thing. Grants take people. And you actually gotta do something. And if we can't do for ourselves without a grant, I've never been a fan of taking a grant and you can't do it yourself. No, do it yourself. You have the ability. Stop putting your hand out to others when you can do it yourself. That's my honest feeling about grants. I'm not saying don't take them ever, but I would only take a grant after I already started to work myself. When I actually am doing it myself and I'm committed, then I'll take someone else's help. That's an honest feeling for me, seriously. And I don't say no one, I don't say you can't disagree with that, but that's my feeling. We shouldn't rely on others to do what we can do for ourselves, not even the government. We have the ability to do it ourselves. And it means much more, right? I'll give you an example. Masjid Muhammad never took a grant, never took anything from the government. Everything we did it. We own our building. We do what we have to do. That's why it's a clear voice of Ahl Sunnah, because we don't owe nobody nothing. We don't got no strings attached. It's us working hard. And whatever we got, that's what we work with, right? Right? That's what we do. We do it ourselves. When we do an event, we finish with it, we take care of it, we take the loss or the benefit. No one is, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do that. We do what is our mission. That's it. And I think we can do that. All strong African American communities have built, they never relied on the government. I lived them, and they were successful. They did what they had to do. That's why you have a 501c3. You have a 501c3. That means they're saying you don't got to pay the taxes. You just got to raise the money. Go find some people who believe in you and get it done. You don't need the government. Go find some people who believe in you and you'll get it done. The problem is we're too used to not being committed. Nah, let's get it done. So I'm going to go to post-Fajr reflections. But I put up the links. And I'm going to every day see where we at. We got, I don't even think we got, today's what? Today's Tuesday. So I think we got like 7 more days. I think the Eid is Tuesday. Tuesday. Monday or Tuesday. All these days look the same to me. Yeah, I think Monday or Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday. Imam Fahim, what day they got scheduled for the Eid? All the days have been the same to me. I'm sorry. I don't even know what day it is. Yeah, so Tuesday. I think it's the 20th. I forgot. See, when you're busy working, you don't even know what day it is. The days all seem the same. Slightest idea. SubhanAllah, may Allah help us. Tayyip, so I'll see y'all over at the post Fajr reflections, inshallah. Barakallahu bikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.